You're listening to a portion of our conversation from episode 275, featuring the Jurassic Wire with myself, Brad Jost, and co-host Aaron Beyer. If you want to hear the full conversation, download the episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to your shows. Today we go over Aaron's thoughts and feelings on Camp Cretaceous Season 3. We do dive into full spoilers for Camp Cretaceous Season 3 in this segment, so if you do not want to hear any of the aforementioned spoilers, please back out now. You have been warned, there's a ton of spoilers in here from Camp Cretaceous Season 3. As always, be sure to let us know what you think, and of course, we hope you enjoy it. We do have one last topic, but if you guys do not want to know anything about Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, please back out. We're going to talk in full spoilers for the show. So 10 episodes aired on Netflix May 21st, the Friday. We're going to go into all 10 episodes, talk about the entirety of the series and all of the details. So if you do not want to hear anything, please go away.
I do want to say this, though. If you're not going to listen because I've previously not liked the first 2 episodes that much, hang out, because I have different things to say. So,
ooh, yeah, I like
surprise
that.
you if you hang out.
You're gonna surprise people. I like that, because going into we'll just dive into the spoiler conversation. Let me get rid of the Sam Goody business here for a
spoilers
second.
Spoilers here. I cannot believe I missed the pre-orders for that T-Rex. What is wrong with me?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. I'm so sorry you missed those. But so where should we start with let's just go into your feelings. What were your general feelings on, well, first off, like you just said, you summarized kind of season 1 and 2. If you have anything else to say about that.
No, I mean, I just think historically I've always been kind of lukewarm. I enjoy them for what they are. I thought I was surprised how much I enjoyed this. I still can't get behind the writing. I think some of the acting is overdone. And this is coming from someone who watches Disney Channel shows. If given the opportunity to mindlessly binge a Disney Channel show, I will. And I this skews even younger than that for me. I looked at the cast on this. A lot of these cast people are Disney, they run in that Disney kids circle. But this season pleasantly surprised me. Yeah, I mean, do you want me just to go through my notes? I know you enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, we put out all of our content on that. We did the non-spoiler first, and talked about how much we loved it just overall. Then went deep into nearly episode by episode as far as what all the spoilers were. So if you want something really, really, really in depth, definitely go check out those episodes. But yeah,
I mean, I'll run through my notes if you want, I took.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I just loved it, and I thought it was a ton of fun. So yeah.
So last time we talked about Camp Cretaceous, it was we were months removed from season 2. You wanted my thoughts, and I literally couldn't even remember what had happened at all. I couldn't even remember that I had seen a season 3 trailer. This is how far removed we were from any Camp Cretaceous content, right? So this time I took notes. I jotted down notes so that I could have an intelligent conversation about this franchise that I supposedly love so much that I couldn't be bothered to pre-order the most sought-after toy in the last 5 years. Okay, so my first note is hang gliding set piece is cool. Solar gondola makes sense. Dimorphodon eggs were way too big. That was my first note. Then my next note was, hooray, there's a Rhinoceros. Model is better than Jurassic World Evolution, thank God. Why is it attacking the boat? It actually made sense. People were like, oh, who was it? Was it one of the Jameses was like, oh, I didn't know Tyrannosaurus was like a killer. And it's like, if you make an elephant mad, which generally is a herbivore and really wants nothing to do with you, if you make it mad, it's going to attack you. You know what I'm saying? Like, a giraffe is going to attack. Like, have you seen that video of the giraffe chasing that Jeep with the Jurassic Park audio overlay? It's scary. I'm not generally afraid of giraffes, but I would be afraid of that giraffe.
I looked at it too, and I was like, this is weird. Like, why is this happening? Like,
it went on for too long. I think that was the thing.
It did go on very long. It just seemed odd. I was like, why is this happening for so long? But once the season gets on, you do understand the value of what was happening there, with the fact that there's a Scorpius Rex loose on this island. As far as the kids know, there's one Scorpius on this island, and Darius just makes a passing comment like, oh, that must be why all the dinosaurs are acting weird. And it works. Like, that moment, that works for me. When I watched it, I was like, oh, this is a little weird. I'm having a blast with that moment, but
no, it doesn't explain why they're just attacking kids. Like the level of attacking.
I just think that these things everything is off balance. They don't know what to trust and what to believe. And the dinosaurs just really don't know how to act at that moment. I think so. I think there's a lot of attacking, unnaturally there.
Okay. But my next comment was Dilophosaurus! Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation. Action figure the show. I love action figures, so I love action figure the show. I hate that thing. Take that thing down.
No.
Get rid of it.
Man.
We're gonna go into that.
Stay in there.
We're gonna go. Oh, it's so ugly.
Yes, purposefully.
I know, but I have things. I have my notes.
All right, go. Get through your notes so we can talk about it. Come on.
There's been a penthouse this whole time. What? Key card, but Dilophosaurus took 2 minutes to figure out how to get into the building, and that kind of like someone told me. Like,
I'm not really sure because I don't remember the details of that you're talking about.
Well, the whole thing is like, okay, there's been this penthouse this whole time. All they had to do was walk up to the building and be like, hey, can we pry open the AC grate to get some, like, if it's a regular day and I forget my key card, I'm going to wait for someone to open up the door to the penthouse. But if I'm living outside with killer dinosaurs, I'm going to figure out how to break into a building. Does that make sense? Like, I will figure it out.
Sure. It's weird because, like, I don't remember what they had said in the first season. Was it just the fact that they didn't have a way in? Because I remember he mentions it early, like I think in like season 1 or sometime around there. But
it's like, oh, we need the key card. But if the power's out, you technically don't need the key cards. So either the doors are just locked or they're unhinged or something. Like the locks go out. Ideally, if the power's off, you would think that the locks would just go out because I'm assuming they're magnetic of some sort. So like, if the power's out, you shouldn't be able to get. The thing is like the lobby is not the goal. You can destroy whatever you want in the lobby area of the building, break windows, do what you have to do. The goal is to get higher. So you're not breaking into the hotel or this penthouse to stay on the ground floor. You're breaking in because you want as many doorways and elevator paths separating you from dinosaurs. And the fact that, like, in season 3, which you have really no sense of time until the end of season 3, which is a whole nother thing. You have no sense of time until the end of season 3, but it's been 6 months. Now, after 6 months, no one was like, you know what, guys, let's go try it again. Like, we're bored. We got nothing to do. Let's go try to break in. Okay, whatever. That's no. Quality wise, I said Darius needs to have a specular pass. If you're into CG, you typically know that light skin characters and dark skin characters are not lit the same in film or animation. I'm going to save this one for last. My big takeaway, which I loved, was that John Hammond's book death is now lore wait, are the original books mythology in the Jurassic World universe? So did the events of Jurassic Park happen in the movies? And then did someone piece together a bunch of stories and write these books? Which is awesome.
No.
Yeah.
No,
What?
I don't think that's what happened. I just think like literally there's those Jurassic World forums that we see at the, in season 1, and people are like just typing, like, there's probably a thread on there of like what happened at Jurassic Park. And like the myth has grown at this point. And somebody once said, "Oh, I think the the guy died. The guy who made the park died, outside."
But that's how he dies in the
I know. I know that. Trust me, I know that. But like, I'm saying in this world, like that's how that happened. I don't think there's like some like Bible written for the history of Jurassic Park.
No, I don't think it's a history of Jurassic Park either. I think it's like, I just think it's some book that someone wrote, like how, how that. No, to this perfect
you're
point.
Getting like in the weeds here.
I'm really meta. I'm really meta on this.
Like, what is happening?
There's that book that we bought on Amazon that's like totally like we have no idea how this thing was even allowed to be written. Because,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I think that's kind of what I think that's what exists out there. Yeah, like and it also, if these two, I'm gonna air quote books. I don't know if I'm using that properly, but like, if these books exist in that universe, it explains why Malcolm dies in the first book and is alive in the second. Because if you're getting all these different points of views as to what happened,
dude, I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. What are you talking about? Like, I understand what happens in the novels, but how does a novel pertain to this show?
Because she said she read it somewhere. Like, she read it in the novels.
No, I don't think she read it in a novel. I think it's an illusion. It's alluding to the novels, obviously. But I don't think there's books. I think she just read it on a forum or online. These kids don't. No, there's not.
There's 2 books. You can buy them at your local Barnes and Noble.
Oh my God, no, there's not. Come on.
There's 2 books written by some secret person. All right.
Secret, yeah, okay. Who is?
All right.
The secret person is Dr. Wu. He's annoyed at all this, and he just wants the real truth out there.
I wrote down Darius's dad loves Gallimimus, and I was like, respect, because that's also my favorite.
That's what you just wrote earlier before.
That's what I wrote earlier. Yeah. Respect, because that's my favorite dinosaur. In fact, is this the first time that we see Gallimimus in Camp Cretaceous? Or are they always floating around?
No, I think I don't know. I think they've been there.
I was legit on the verge of tears when I thought he was going to get to pet a Gallimimus. Like, I was like, oh my God. I was like,
I think, didn't Kenji ruin it like both times or something like that with the walkie-talkies? Yeah.
Something. I was like legit, I was having a moment to this children's show. The kitchen is back! Exclamation point. Kind of cool. I mean, it was a little too on the nose. Like, I would have just been fine with it. Like, oh, like, look, we're in the kitchen, but like they went with the whole circle window breath thing again. I was like, okay, we're a little too much. And then this is where I get to WTF, 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 Fallen Kingdom, all capitalized, exclamation, exclamation. The Mosasaurus does its trick. And so at first I was like, cool, we're in the rain. Like, we don't get to see rain very much in Jurassic World anymore. It's very much a Spielberg thing, which I think is terrifying. All these animals all of this stuff is scarier in the dark. And this is kind of what I was getting at with, like, I don't get who this show is for, because it's too scary for like probably like I know that my sister would probably not let my 5-year-old nephew watch this. Now, did you watch this with your kid? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How did he handle this season?
He loved it, and I don't think he ever really got too scared or anything. Okay. Maybe one moment he like curled up. He's like, "Oh, that's scary," but like I don't think he does. He watches like ghost content all the time, and he doesn't care about that stuff.
Well,
I didn't feel like uncomfortable or anything. I didn't feel like it would
we watched it at the same time together. So like for the first time.
Yeah.
So, I was seeing it the first time he was seeing it. So, but yeah, it is drastically like scarier due to this creature that we see right here,
We get the confirmation that this is 6 months since Jurassic World.
Yep.
And then I said my last note is, I'm going to circle back to this other one. My last note is what's in the boat cargo. I'm assuming it's a replicant. Let me circle back to my note because I have no notes about the Scorpius Rex. I have no notes about it. It's
oh my god! Wait, I thought you said you liked this season. What's happening?
let's get there. Let me circle back. This
Okay.
This contradicts Jurassic World websites and current lore, but I will choose a show over a website every time. That's not that I actually had a conversation with Jack the other day. It's not any disrespect to him or what Chaos Theorem has created. It's just that I think this medium blends better with the movies. It's just being a visual medium and something that I don't have to search for and know specific keywords that I'm looking for. This is something that I would choose if this was ever announced as official canon.
Yeah,
I guess I would probably choose to go with this instead of the website. I did say to him, I said, I feel bad. I said, I thought that what they created, because I've said it a million times here, what they're doing is canon until it's not canon, until a creative comes along and says, I don't want to be beholden to a website, to a show, to a video game, right? Like
you said that for everything. Yeah,
I said that for everything, and it's not just his website. It's Jurassic for some reason. It's canon until it's conveniently not canon. I thought for sure that his website would have lasted uncontested until Trevorrow left the series.
Mm-hmm.
I could have seen easily a new creative team coming in and being like, hey, all the extended stuff, we're grateful for all of it, but we're going to kind of just do our own thing. And like, we move forward now, the movies are canonical and everything else is just like an adventure.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty, I thought it was kind of crappy, to be honest with you. Like his website, like to me, like the website it's there and it's tough. I think it's tough to navigate, but like, it's not like it's impossible.
Like the back door and stuff like that.
Like the back door. It's not like it's impossible. It's like if you cared in the slightest, you could have called him up and been like, hey, can you we want to do this. We want to do these things. Can you tell us about your website? Like something. Just like when I watched Jurassic Park 3 and they talk about where the carnivores are in relation to the herbivores. And it's like different than The Lost World. It's like, dude, all you had to do was watch the first half hour of The Lost World and you wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah.
Well, why Pteranodons are flying loose in The Lost World, but they're not in Jurassic Park 3. Like,
exactly. That's why, like, I'm kind of like, I don't care about canon at this point, really too much. I have so much in the past, but like, I'm at the point of just throwing it in the towel because like you said, stuff between even the actual films doesn't make a ton of sense. And then add in everything else. And I like it and I appreciate it. Like I will still always reference those websites and everything that's on them. When the conversation, comes to that place. And but at the same time, you have to like look at what the information is and be like, well, does this contradict something that I've seen on film or on television? And if it does, then I ultimately will choose what's visual instead of what's on a website, right?
And just like really simple things. They gave a species count in Jurassic Park, okay? And I forget the number. I want to say 15. Does 15 sound right?
You better say the right one.
What?
You better say the right number.
I think it's 15 in the original. They have 15 species.
Preface everything by saying we don't research.
I didn't research this, and I'm not pulling it up. But they give an actual species count. They're in the Jeeps. Gennaro is talking to Hammond, and he says, oh, there's X amount of species, right? We only see 7. You get to the Lost World. The number between the Lost World and Jurassic Park gets tighter because we're introduced to more species. Now, because the Lost World is also species that don't necessarily have to be in the park yet, the amount of species between Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park 3, the number can supersede the number of species we're introduced to can actually supersede the number we're told to in Jurassic Park, because Hammond is talking about the number of dinosaurs on Isla Nublar at that point. He's not talking about animals in research or in production over on Sorna. Okay, fine, whatever. Trevorrow and his creative team had a get out of jail free card with Jurassic World. And for some reason, he has Gray go through the history of numbers on the boat. They started with X amount of species. Why? Why would you do that? Don't tell me how many dinosaurs there are, because now I'm just going to count every time you introduce a new one. You've just given yourself a corner. You've just backed yourself into a corner with the fan. So when Ouranosaurus gets introduced and Monolophosaurus gets introduced, and people in the chats are like, where were these on the Lost or the Jurassic World website, and where were they on the map? It's like, dude, all you had to do was not have Gray say that there was a number of animals, and you just didn't have to print maps with like, why would you do this? I don't know where I'm going with this, but like,
no,
this is the canon that I'm talking. Like, that's a simple thing to just omit, and then canon doesn't matter when it comes to species of dinosaurs. And yet they insist on doing these things. It's like the 90s, which is like what drove me nuts. It's like everything is its own canon, yet somehow it's all related to the movie. And it's like, oh, I don't know, man. I can't, like, and we were debating what was our oh, you had seen it. You let me just talk out of my rear last time because you had seen it for previews.
Yeah.
You knew the history of the Scorpius Rex last time we talked. So do you remember where I landed on that? Did I think this was a mid-step?
Well, I know that our main discussion when we were talking about Scorpius was how it related to the Indominus, right? We were talking about how and when this thing would have been born and bred, and we were talking about the time frame, and we were referring back, and Jack kind of informed us that like the Indominus, according to them, was born in 2012, but from our perspective, or at least my perspective, I was saying, you know, we see this show us that dinosaurs are bred in a matter of few weeks, or not, you know, however long, but like they grow up in a matter of few weeks. So we were kind of referring to that pattern with the Indominus as well, saying that they could have been, you know, born just a few weeks ago, gotten to the size. So when was this born? And then we did talk about this being first at some point. So
all right, here's where I hate this Scorpius Rex. I really dislike it. A lot of reasons.
Before you get far, I did bring up the Jurassic World on my phone, and of course it just disappeared. But I brought it up because I wanted to relay what the numbers were. So Gray says, when they first opened, they had 8 species. So when they first opened in 2005, and this is the kind of documentation that, like, I feel like the back door and DPG, all that good stuff, like, you know, this is the kind of stuff that they kind of parse out, right, with their lists. And, you know, especially with JP3, when they mentioned like what was on InChen's list, and, you know, so they kind of showcase all of these things that were available as dinosaurs back then, and then between each film, like you were saying, and kind of try to make sense of it.
But here's where I say things like, oh, I'm going to take a show. I don't think the show has ever mentioned what happened to Sorna. DPG in the back door has has basically written the story of Sorna, and as a story I don't really like. So, and I know I'm anti headcanon, but I don't have headcanon now. I have 2 versions of canon that I can choose from, and I prefer the one where Sorna is kind of a mystery still, as opposed to knowing that Sorna is just kind of DOA, you know.
It's just in a shroud of fog off the coast. It's doing its own thing. But he did go on to say, and now they have 14 herbivores and 6 carnivores. So I have not, brought up the numbers myself to see which ones they were and all that back in 2015 but
there's even animals on the original Jurassic World website that we've not yet seen. Like Suchomimus is there.
Mm-hmm.
We've not seen Suchomimus. Protoceretus is there. We've not seen Protoceretus. Compsognathus is not there, and we've seen Compsognathus in the film. So like the speed again, why take the line out? If it's going to back you into a creative corner, just omit the line. Who cares?
Yeah, we did see the compies in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So
that's what I'm saying. We've seen compies in Jurassic World.
Yeah.
They didn't miraculously show up between movie 4 and 5 on Nublar, so they were obviously there, and they're not listed on the original Jurassic World website.
Oh, okay, yeah, true. It's just at this point,
canon doesn't matter. Universal doesn't care.
It doesn't matter. Website, and I mean JurassicWorld.com, all the map and everything that they had with all the different attractions. None of that matters.
No.
Backdoor, and DPG stuff you take with a grain of salt and kind of take what you want from it, I think. And even what Gray is saying, the thing that I really dislike about narratives nowadays, and especially with Jurassic, is a lot of people default to saying, well, you can't really believe, it's an unreliable narrator. And that is something that I don't
know. Gray is not an unreliable narrator in that instance.
I could almost side with it for Gray, but I still just do not like unreliable narrator as like a storytelling device, because like some instances it works great, fine, but like I don't know, there's nothing about these films that tells me that they want to lie to me and tell me false truths. So I don't get that from this franchise.
The kid obsessed with numbers and obsessed with dinosaurs knows how many species there are in Jurassic World.
Now that this is where I think, of course you could take in the unreliable narrator, because he knows what they have, right? He knows what they've told you.
He knows what they have told you. Okay.
Yeah. So
he knows what's in the brochure.
Exactly. I hate that. I really hate that, because like I don't want like a truth where Jurassic World lies to everybody, and they also have a pen with Monolophosaurus and Tyrannosaurs and everything else out there that we've seen before. Obviously, they are lying to people. Nobody knew that they had the Indominus Rex. Nobody knew that they made the Scorpius Rex. So we do know that they are hiding a lot of things.
Yeah,
but I never necessarily consider them liars, as much. So yeah.
Can we talk about the Scorpius Rex?
Yes, I want to talk about it, and let me say I love it. So I know you're going to talk about why you dislike it, but right. I want to say that this creature, and I know we talked about the toy reveal and stuff like that, and we didn't necessarily like it. But that was, it's a prototype image that we saw floating around, and we actually didn't show the toy itself, but those leaked images came out, and we that was where we first heard about Scorpius Rex, and that is where my mind was like, I really dislike this name. I'm not into the name at all. And the toy, I'm like, I don't like the way the toy looks. But I think when it comes down to it, the fact that this was first, and a thing that doesn't necessarily tie into the Indominus and Indoraptor in a certain way, like because it was first, they went on their own naming conventions after that. It makes sense that it would be called the Scorpius Rex, and the fact that it was poisonous because of the scorpion fish or whatever it was. But the fact that this is like an abomination thrills me. Look at the legs. The legs are super lanky and thin and frail looking, but this thing, it's ugly, and it makes sense to me.
So ugly is a story point, so
I love. Yeah, but yeah, I can't. I don't think you can argue that. I think it's purposefully ugly and weird, and I don't know what you dislike about it, but I love how ugly and horrifying this thing is, because the Indoraptor is terrifying. This is essentially like the Indoraptor. The Indoraptor is just the perfected version of this, right? But I love that thing, but I think this is even creepier and scarier, and I love that because something went wrong. Something went very wrong, and I love that you can visually see that, and I love that it almost has human-esque qualities to it, and kind of referring back to old, concepts for this franchise. And the fact that this thing basically stands up and looks like it has like a human chest. It's like so strange and weird, and it just like it brings everything that I would want. And I love the monster side of this franchise. I really do. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea. Yeah.
I don't know if you and I can be friends anymore. Like, that's all I'm gonna say.
After whatever you were talking about with the book, maybe I'm in agreement. I don't know.
So, all right. I kind of don't understand your point. So here's the thing: technology gets smaller, and the Indominus Rex was meant to be a new attraction, sure, but it was kind of backdoored InGen getting into their version of a drone, right? Like, we're gonna make an animal that can be harnessed and trained, and the Indominus Rex is the first of what does that world look like?
Yeah.
Oh, what does that world look like? We need this creature to actually be smaller. We like how ferocious it is. It needs to be smaller. Well, if you look at this thing, if this is before the Indominus Rex, this is the same size as the Indoraptor. So why is this thing like what they figured out how to make a smaller killing machine? So this negates the Indoraptor.
I'd love to see a size comparison, because like at times, and maybe it's just the perspective in the show, but at times I feel like it's bigger. It's a kind of in between.
I know, but look at this image. You have This is your size.
Yeah, but I'd like to see the Indoraptor like right there with it, just to kind of compare those two creatures specifically, because I feel like it might be a tad bigger, but it's hard to tell. Well, but yeah, you're right. I mean, that makes sense.
This negates the need for the Indoraptor. They've created the smaller killing machine. They've figured it out. Like, it's done. In fact, this is almost, I could argue, better, because it can throw poison darts at its enemies. Like this is almost kind of better than the Indoraptor, quote, better.
Sure. But I think you got to look at it from DNA perspective. It's like, you don't know what you're going to get, It's like you put all those sequences in, and you're like, well, press play. I hope it works. And it doesn't. This time it didn't work. But like,
Wu was even like, oh, the Indominus Rex wasn't bred. She was designed. Like, he's super proud of the fact that he knows exactly what is going on with this. So this is like almost like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I thought the Predator vision was a cool thing. All right. We have to go over Dilophosaurus to get to why. We have to go over Dilophosaurus to get to why I don't like this. All right.
Okay.
Spielberg made up that Dilophosaurus had poison spit and the frill. That's made up. That's non-scientific. Okay. All right. So already, we have instances in the Jurassic Park franchise where they create a dinosaur and didn't know it had this terrifying, horrific thing. Okay. So I feel like the Scorpius Rex could have been, as I've said, I don't like the mutant dinosaurs. I don't like the monster of the week stuff that they've been doing. Like, Indominus, fine. Indoraptor, okay, like a little too much. And then you get to this one, and it's like really, we're doing this like again. And I said this last time. I was like, we're doing this again.
Yeah.
This could have been a real dinosaur that once bred was discovered to have all these horrific things that it could do, that Mizrani was like, no, you cannot, we cannot put this in the park. We've already got Dilophosaurus out there, and we got raptors that we don't have on display. This killing Cryolophosaurus or whatever, you can't, no, this is too far. It could have been any real dinosaur that the spikes could be like poisonous, that it could have night vision. That's a real thing in the animal world. Like, I just feel like this didn't have to go be part of the mutant storyline or the hybrid storyline. This could have been a real terrifying dinosaur. You could have had a real species introduced into the Jurassic World lore that that could have been that it just didn't need to be this. And then you get into this replicating thing. This thing replicates like tribbles or trebles or gremlins. Like, or did this, what? How? What? I don't even understand how. Wu knew there was only one. So
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how. I mean, they've been doing it since the first film. Like, you know.
No. In the first film, they lay eggs, and those eggs hatch as babies and grow to maturity. I got the feeling in this that off screen, this thing was like splitting into two.
Okay. That's what? No.
Yes.
No,
because in that cargo container is a third one on their boat. And when else would that have happened? They've been on that boat on and off this entire season.
Okay, so I could get behind that. I could say that, yes, there could be a third one on the boat. But I definitely don't think it's just like a snake and shedding its skin, and all of a sudden that skin is another Scorpius Rex.
I don't know. I don't know, man. This thing has the barrel chest and the arms of a werewolf. Like, dude, when it like roared and like did this, I'm on camera.
I love that. I love that image so much.
Oh,
the best. It is so good.
Spielberg didn't want these to be monster movies. Why is he letting this happen? These movies are about animals.
I don't know about that. Under his watch, they ended up, wanting to do that. So
I know, but like he says in like the original making of movies, these are not about making monsters. Then you get to Jurassic Park 3, and Alan Grant's like, what Hammond created was motion park monsters, and it's like, what? No, you're missing the point. You've missed the point of these films. These movies are about animals. So why not have had Wu? Like you said, with DNA, you don't know what you're going to get. And the Dilophosaurus kind of proves that. Oh, I hate that. Take that down off this screen.
No, I love it so
Oh my gosh, it doesn't even make any sense. Why couldn't this have been a real dinosaur that was so horrific that Mizrani would not let it go into the park?
That's not the hybrid storyline. Why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense.
Because we've already done the hybrid storyline twice.
Yeah, but this is the first attempt. So
okay, it could have been. He could have like it could have been like
attempt at the small version. So that's like this is what we got. So I gotta accept that.
Quickly thinking, Dr. Wu, this new real dinosaur you've created is too dangerous. We cannot have it in the park. And Wu says, "Well, we're running out of species. We keep getting species that are very similar to what we already have." And Mizrani says, well, here, I have this new project for you. We're going to start doing not mutations. What do they call them? I'm drawing a blank. Hybrids. We're going to start doing hybrids now. Like, this could have been a real dinosaur. Oh. This could have been a real dinosaur, man.
I don't have anything there, but
it could have been like a super Dilophosaurus. Could have been a real dinosaur, man.
A super Dilophosaur that started out with
Mizrani,
frill and then grew a frill.
So we know that there's Dilophosaurus in Jurassic World. It's part of the holograms. And
Yeah.
to me, that's good enough in saying that it's out in, and we had it did like a little coup in Fallen Kingdom at the beginning of the movie, right? That's enough to tell me that Dilophosaurus is on display at Jurassic World. Okay.
It was in Darius's book too. He's seen it, and he only wrote stuff that he's seen too.
That's
So
good point. You're proving my point even more. So Dilophosaurus is on Jurassic.
Am I?
Yeah,
what is the through line of this point?
The through line of this is I dislike this. This should not exist.
Oh gosh. Okay.
This is the only thing that's keeping me from like allowing this to be hard canon.
Okay. Well,
it is what it is.
I don't know. But
you can sleep on it overnight if we're still friends. Let me know in the morning.
I'm like, how can I utilize this episode at this point?
Are we done? We're basically done, right?
Well, I don't know. I love this thing. I think it's pretty cool, and I like that. It ended up being the first hybrid and an abomination, and it makes sense to me. Like, he tried to go for the small dinosaur first, and the because I know you want it to be like some, real dinosaur for the park, but technically, I think that this program that we was doing is never for the park. It's for ulterior motives, which connect to Mills and further, So I think this would never have been a real dinosaur. It would have been an amalgamation of things. And that's why, he probably attempted, and I'm inferring here, but he probably attempted to go for the ultimate program and something that could attack and eat you, belt buckle and all, inside your tunnel system or whatever. But he messed up. He really messed up. And that's why, he tries to correct it a little bit in the bigger version, which he's like, I'm comfortable with that. I can make those. Let me then, shrink it down from there. But that's the way I look at it. And it makes sense to me.
I'm going to negate my entire argument and say this thing does support my theory that like, you don't just have a good version the first time around, right? Like the Indominus was a functional dinosaur.
Yeah.
Quote dinosaur, right?
And when he says, that quote, which I forget what it was, but like, oh yeah, it wasn't bred or no, it was designed or whatever. Like he's saying that to the investors, right? At that moment, right. I think. Yeah. Or yeah. So, he's on display. He's kind of saying it's perfected at this point and made, but like, yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea that he put it on ice and said, I'll come back to this when I can figure out what went wrong. And I think that's pretty cool. I love this thing, and I love how horrific it is. I love that it's distracted by fire. It's a fun thing.
That's how I thought they were going to I got two things. So This does support my idea that Maisie is not version 1, right? That there were multiple.
Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah,
multiple destroyed versions of Maisie, which is really crazy dark. I also thought when they introduced the fire thing and then they introduced the we're gonna blow up a bomb at the top of this hill, I thought for sure they were gonna destroy this thing by getting it up to Cybo or something.
Well, it did kind of like evoke that imagery, right?
Well, and then we started
when they blew up that attraction at the top of the mountain.
Yeah,
it did like a volcano going off. So it was obviously they were referring to that moment too. So.
And this happens. This animal comes into the series early enough that like they do such a weird, crazy thing is when a lot of TV shows do this, but they do it with one episode. I feel like this movie did it with this show did it with 3. They like ended this season like 3 episodes before the end of the season. So like they destroy this thing, and then they jump into the Fallen Kingdom storyline, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh man, how cool would it be if they're there and things start rumbling and like, oh, the Scorpius Rex is back. Oh, we got to get it up to the fiery pit of Cybo because it loves fire. And we're going to
you have to be there for another 3 more years.
But no, come on. Really? Like Cybo is not shaken for.
I don't know. for 3.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that would be a big coincidence. But let me ask you this: did the kids kill off the Dimorphodons?
Because they're not at all in Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
No.
Did they? I've seen a lot of people talking about that online. It's like kids blew up the top of the mountain where all those Dimorphodon eggs were, and probably the Dimorphodons like quietly sleeping near their eggs, and then kabloom, and there you go. All the Dimorphodons are dead. I thought it was a fun theory that people have been talking about.
Yeah, I just feel like the Dimorphodon, there were so many in Jurassic World. Like, in all reality, the fact that there's still flying dinosaurs on this island doesn't make any sense.
So you think that there's a third Scorpius? I see. I was trying to think about. I actually was considering.
Well, it just depends. Like, so
actually would be what happened in Jurassic Park with the dinosaurs migrating and leaving, and I considered what if Blue did the same thing? They introduced it here with the Scorpius, and then then they introduced also with Blue. Blue, produces an offspring that somehow found its way onto this boat. I think that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah,
and a nice allusion to the novel as well, but with a baby, a young raptor leaving the island on a boat. I thought that would be kind of cool.
It'd be cool. It would help us get further with there being more raptors, which I think is like desperately needed.
Oh, for sure.
I was gonna say something. I thought it was weird that the kids wear the same clothes every day, but they have bathing suits. So like they brought one outfit and one bathing suit with them.
Well, you know how Claire dresses, right? She wears the white outfit everywhere she goes, and in her videos and everything. Actually, that makes me wonder what was she wearing for the Jurassic World the ride videos? Probably the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Probably the same. But yeah, I mean, I the kids have their luggage, and we only see them on the days that they wear the same outfit, and then when they need the swim trunks, they can use them.
6 months, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that if I wore the same, this is gonna get real graphic, but I think if I wore the same pair of underwear for 6 months, they would literally just rot off my body. Like, especially in the heat. Dude, I think my shorts would they chafe so much.
What is happening? What is happening anymore?
The interior of my pants would just this doesn't make any sense.
So, pants aside, is there anything you liked about season 3?
Yeah, all these things I said on my phone. I really liked it.
Talk about let's talk about Fallen Kingdom, that bit for a minute, because when that popped up, I was like so pumped.
Yeah, me too.
Excited that was happening, and I was like, oh my god, they actually like recreated it, which was really cool to see.
Yeah, in a very sped up fashion, but it was cool.
Sure.
So, well, this kind of ruins our. I feel like this ruins our theory about Wu being out in the park finding Nedry, right? Like, remember our whole thing was that like during the fall of Jurassic Park, Wu was going to be out there getting the can. I feel like this kind of like, I feel like this negates that, because I feel like why would you do that again? Like, Wu just happens to be out in the jungle collecting his stuff. He just always happens to know where to go. Like,
it's a nice setup. It's a brilliant setup. And dude, you just ask, why would you have to do this again? We just had a random conversation about the 3, hybrids.
All right. Yeah. All right. Fair.
And also Jurassic World exists. Why did you have to do this again? So yeah, I don't know. I just think it could be a nice setup actually to show that he is committed to his tasks and, wants to see things through himself. It could be a good way to showcase that, at the forefront here. And then when you see it, you're like, okay, that's a character trait of Dr. Wu, right?
Yeah. Now, do we know, is there going to be a season 4 of this?
Oh, definitely. Yes. Yeah.
it's been announced, or you know successful wise if there's going to be another one?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it all depends on if it's doing well, but I mean, the show's been trending in the top 10. I think it was like definitely at number 2 for a while, and so I think it's popular enough. And with these DreamWorks shows, they do tend to go on pretty long, a lot of different seasons. So it's projected to have more seasons, as far as I know. So as long as people watch it, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I'm a diehard, so like I'll watch it no matter what. Like the quality can just go completely in the hole, and I'll still watch it because it's got the Jurassic Park logo on it. But I
don't know. I've talked for a while about like, I really would have liked season 4 to be the kids got home safe and sound at the end of season 3, and then season 4 picks up, at the end of Fallen Kingdom. Where they're home and they witness the dinosaurs escaping, and they go on this like mission to go find Bumpy, who is now in America or something like that.
Now, wait, where is Bumpy at this point? Is Bumpy still on Nublar?
Yeah, Bumpy's still there. But in my head, I'm like, how cool would it be if those hunters ended up picking up Bumpy, and then Bumpy escaped Lockwood Manor, and then like there's like a television shot of like an Ankylosaurus crossing a street, and Ben just like sees it and sees the.
I mean, that could still happen. That could still happen.
It could, but like it just doesn't feel like it's going to be a season 4 thing. If anything, down the road, if they ever did anything like that. But I just don't necessarily see the tie-in just yet to what it could have been with Dominion. So
I
like right now,
like to see
they still have to get home,
Right.
And they still get home by Manticore too. So if there's some sort of tie-in with Manticore and Biosyn, then maybe. But I still think they could reveal that without having to see Dominion yet. But they still have to like rectify it. And I imagine now season 4 will be like, well, we planned on going home, but then we realized there's a dinosaur in here, or either like Manticore intercepts them, kind of like we just saw with the helicopter, in season 3, and then they end up on Sorna, or they end up on one of the, those islands or something like that.
That would be, you just blew my mind. I'm so into that idea. Like,
imagine they find out there's a dinosaur, and they're like, where are we going to go? We have to dump this thing off, and they find this island or something like that. Or
that's so awesome.
I don't know. Or they just get turned around and they think they've gotten back to Costa Rica, and it turns out to be Sorna.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I was actually not. My idea is not that cool.
They actually have already set up the fact that Kenji has no clue how to read a compass, so like they could definitely like have him holding the compass. He was obviously alone up in the whatever you call the room where you pilot a boat. But like he was up there piloting himself. So what if he just looked at the wrong direction and ends up at Sorna? Like I could definitely see that happening.
That's awesome. I was actually thinking like, because they keep hitting home this, dude, no one would be looking for them on Sorna.
No, but what if Manticore set up their base there? Ooh,
that'd be cool. I was actually thinking, because they kept, and they've done it in this a few times. It's like, oh, when we go home, we're not going to be friends anymore. And so I was like, it would be kind of cool if one of the kids happened to live in California and it was summer break and they were all like, hey, we're getting together at Brooklyn's house for summer. We're going to do a vacation. And then the events
2 minutes from Lockwood Estate.
Well, I mean, no, but like, it's like they're out on vacation.
Yeah.
And this happens and they are like, oh, we're going to go dinosaur hunting or whatever. Like we're going to go, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Like something, I guess something stupid like that. But your idea of them washing ashore on Sorna is really, really cool. Dude, the Spinosaurus could come back. Wait, no, it can't.
Well, that's no, it can. No, it's not. It could. They've already negated stuff before. So.
Oh no, it's not dead. It didn't die.
No.
What am I talking about?
It's dead. Everything is dead according to, right? And the
right. But that doesn't count. But that doesn't count in Camp Cretaceous. So
No, I mean, yeah, they could show up and Spino's still there, and all the dinos are still there. They didn't necessarily have to transport these things off of Sorna, So that's my hope, at least. It could be cool.
So
and I know there was an article where Scott Kramer, the producer, talked about legacy dinos and ones that he would like to see, them revisit or something. So, there's always the chance that, we could see the other Velociraptor species or, Spino and stuff like that. That could be awesome.
Dude, Velociraptors that just don't give a crap about you, please bring that on. Spinosaurus, yeah, let's do it. Tiger stripe raptors. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
I guess it'll be fun.
I'm gonna get our hopes up maybe, but it could be fun.
That'd be awesome, man. Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, I don't have anything else on my notes there.